it's interesting to see how some of the other boys lived and how the scouting went on. Boys had to cut their own wood for the fire, and whether no matter where you live, that's a common thing. But here was the eating I was going to tell you about, where we sat with your feet in the trench, and you sat on one side of the ground and used the other side of the table. This had to be Will Conrad. He was one of the senior patrol leaders with me. Will and I became very good friends. In fact, he became a professional scout and was at Philmont for a number of years, and then he was the executive for the Duluth, Minnesota Council. Oh, this man here on the left with a scout hat on, the helmet, was a Dutch nobleman who had done a lot for scouting, and I kept in touch with him for a number of years, as long as he was alive, but he was revered by the Dutch scouts. One of the leading volunteers in the country. How the boys of today would do with some of this thing. Everything's in canned goods now. But the boys here had to prepare their own meals from scratch. We went out one afternoon to the island of Marken, which is in the Zuiderzee, which is land that's been reclaimed by the Dutch as they slowly have drained some of the sea away and gotten more land. But this isle has remained very not modernized at all. The conclusion of the Jamboree was a final march past, and this was one of the most moving experiences of the whole trip, and one that I still remember with a great deal of emotion. Lord Baden-Powell, after all the boys had marched in, he went out to the center of the stadium where they erected a stand, and he spoke. Here's the Japanese scouts, and they were from Germany and Italy and countries that we were going to be at war with in just a few years, which is horrible. Here comes America, spelled with a K. Lord Baden-Powell now going out. All 30,000 boys are seated in the ground, and there's 100,000 people in the stands, and he went out there and he spoke. And I remember it was indelibly etched in my mind, memory, that he talked about, he hoped that world leaders would take a clue from what had happened here in Holland for the past week, where boys from all walks of life and in many countries have been together in a very harmonious, wonderful experience. And if the leaders of the world could only be as open as the boys were, it would be something for the world. Unfortunately, that was not to prove to be the case. So that was the conclusion of a very wonderful 3 weeks that I had in Washington and Europe.